And on the top right-hand side of your screen, you should have this the go-to meeting window. If you're using your microphone, then you see a mute button. You can go ahead and mute it if you don't want to accidentally come out and make everyone listen to you. But I am going to go ahead and get started. So like I said, for this week I'm going to use the Air Force Village site as the demo site. So I'm on the Air Force Village site. I'm going to go ahead and log in as myself. Now realize your views may be a little different. I think most of the people on this call should have a very similar view to mine because you're all admins. So we have a lot of stuff up here. Today we're going to cover a lot of the basic stuff. I mean, we're going to go in, we're going to look at the Manage Overview, we're going to create a work order, we're going to close the work order, we're going to go over a couple of dispatch actions like posting time to the work order, and printing a work order, canceling a work order. Real basic stuff this week. Okay, so I've logged in, and pretty much the main interface that most everyone's going to use most of the time is the Manage Overview screen. It's right here, just on the right-hand side of the Sprocket portal. Go ahead and click on that. And the very most important thing to remember when this first window comes up is look to see what Save Search you're on. I'm on the Manage Overview screen. By default, when you log in the first time, you're going to be on the All Closed. So you're only going to see closed work orders, which probably isn't what you want. Now the different views here, you get to them by, over on the right-hand side, you see there's a Saved Searches link. Click on Save Searches, and that'll show you each one that you have access to. So here at Air Force Village, we have all canceled, all closed, all open, those that are marked completed, and then you see I made my own D-Powers Manage Overview because there was something that I wanted to look at. The main Manage Overview, which shows everything. It shows all open, all closed, all canceled, all waiting for assignment. It shows absolutely everything. And then we have two more areas here that you probably, well, I know nobody has yet. If you want to have something like this, let me know, but we have waiting for assignment, which are all the work orders that have not been assigned to an employee yet. So any PMs that generated and they're not assigned to an employee, or any work orders that have been created but an employee was not assigned. They all show up under the waiting for assignment Save Search. And then I've also created a waiting to be printed Save Search because at Air Force Village they still do printed copies of the work orders that the technicians carry around with them. And we had issues sometimes, you know, the coordinator maybe couldn't remember if they printed it or someone else put it in and went ahead and assigned it, but it hadn't been printed and given to the technician. So we have those stages. So when they create a work order, it goes to waiting for assignment. Then when it gets assigned, it goes waiting to be printed. And after it's printed, then it goes to a status of in progress, and that's when it would show up on their all open work orders. So if you're interested in something like that at your site, let me know and we'll get it set up and running for you. But I do want the Manage Overview, so I'm going to click on Manage Overview. Like I said, this is my preferred screen because I like to see everything. Some people may not want to see everything, they just want to see what's open. Okay, so once you're here, one of the biggest improvements in the new Sprocket over the old Sprocket is the flexibility of the search criteria. So on the top left, I'm going to click Search. And if anyone has any questions while we're going through this or wants me to slow down, please tell me. So here we have search criteria. And this is different on every site as well, so yours may be in a different order. You may have more stuff. I know when we have everything on here, there's a lot of dates over here on the right-hand side, and there's some action log searches and stuff like that. We can customize that, and I'm going to show you all that at a later time. It won't be today, though. So here you can search for any number of things. If you have a specific work order number you want to search for, you can type it in here. Or if you wanted to search multiple things. For instance, if I wanted to search for all the work orders that I have requested, I'd go to Requested By. I could put D-Powers, my username. And if you're not sure, you can start typing and it'll bring it up. I could have typed Powers, I could have typed Dustin, and it would have brought me up. And then you can further search it by, what if I only wanted to see work orders that was requested by D-Powers, but I want to see the ones that were opened on or after, let's go with December 29th. So I don't want to see all of them that I've requested just since December 29th. And then I can click search. I see I haven't requested any there since December 29th. It says no records to display. So I go back to search and I can clear out some of this data. So maybe I want to see all of them I've ever requested. So I clear it out and hit search again. And I can see all of the work orders that I've requested and the status that they're in, etc. And then once you are in Manage Overview, you can do this from any screen. One of the neat functions with the new Sprocket is you have the ability to organize these rows as what's important to you. This does not change on everyone's screen, it's just on your screen, so feel free to do it. But maybe the location is really important to me and I want to see it right next to the work order. You can click and drag and drop location over to wherever I wanted to see it. So it moved it, and it'll remember that every time I log in and go to the Manage Overview screen. This is how my screen will look. Conversely, if Renee were to log in right now and go to her screen, it does not look like this. It looks like how it was originally set up or how she customized hers. The next kind of thing that I want to show y'all, another enhancement from Sprocket 1 to Sprocket 2, is the ability to sort. So if I wanted to put all these work orders in order by the employee's name, all you have to do is click on employee. And that's going to go ahead and sort them. So you see there's some without an employee, so it put them on the top. And then I can see alphabetically who these work orders are assigned to. If you wanted to sort them the other direction, so the last letter of the alphabet first, you just click it again. And it's going to go ahead and sort it the opposite way. So R's, then K's, then G's. So that's kind of a cool function. I'm going to go back to the search thing because it really is one of the most powerful features in this new Sprocket once you learn how to use it. So another kind of common use for the search feature, it might be for you to search for all of your work orders in a certain building. So if I wanted to find all of my work orders, at Air Force Village we have Air Force Villages 1 and 2. So if I wanted to find all of my work orders at Air Force Village 2, you could just type AFV2. If you had a building number, say your building is 4215, you could type 4215 in here. And then you can click on something if you want to, but you don't have to. If you type the right building number, that's what it's going to search for, and then hit search. And now in my window, it's only going to show me things at AFV2 and all of the children to AFV2 because of the naming convention we went with. So I have no Air Force Village 1 work orders in here. So if you have a supervisor over a building, or if you're only searching for work orders in a certain building or area, that's how you do it. Okay, so that's it for the Manage Overview. That's kind of what I wanted to show you all about that. Now I'm going to show you how to create a new work order. We have a couple of ways here. We can click New Work Order here in the Manage Overview, or if you look up right under the Work Management, over to New Work Order, we have a New Work Order link. So I'm going to click there. You see we have several request types at Air Force Village as well. So we have work order, request, or catered living. Most of you probably just have work order and preventative maintenance, if I were to guess.
I am.
Someone just say something?
And I can pick it up.
Okay. So you go ahead and fill in the request type. I'm going to do a work order. And then for the request code, you have to put something about it. Like if you know your request code's great. If you don't, you can type anything. Like maybe we need a plumbing, or we have a clogged toilet. So if you start typing toilet or type toilet, it'll bring you everything that has the word toilet in it. So you see we have a hanging mount for a toilet paper dispenser. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for plumbing repair. So I'm going to go ahead and click plumbing repair. And it's going to bring up the information that Air Force Village requires to put a work order in. You will also notice that this could very well look different from the screen at your facility, and we can change your facility if you'd like, or that is actually on the topic or on the board for discussion next week. So next week I'm going to show you how to reorganize this thing. You can set stuff as required or however you want your site set up. So here, anything in red is a required field, so it requires a phone number, so I'm going to enter my phone number. And everything else is optional. I'm going to leave it as a routine request. And in the notes, I'm going to put this as a test work order. Just so if anyone sees it, they don't try to do any work. Now anything in here, if you click the magnifying glass to the right-hand side, it's going to bring you up to a whole list of anything that you can put in there. So next to location, you see I get my location tree. And I can tunnel down until I find the right location that I'm trying to submit this work order for. We're going to go ahead and submit this one for this room. And that's pretty much it for the required information, or what you really need to see here. If you go up just a hair, we have add or assign employee over here on the left-hand side. So if we click on... Yes, ma'am.
Can you have it pre-filled to certain things that you do routinely? Like what I've noticed on mine is it will pre-fill to like maybe the last thing you entered.
Yes.
But like at the bottom for
right here?
Priority and stuff.
Uh-huh.
For priority, can you have it pre-filled to something so that you only have to change it if it's like a special request?
We can, yes. We can set the default values of these if you'd like, or maybe a better way to do it that we can also do is you can set the priority and autofill priority based on the request code if you want. So anytime there's a plumbing repair, maybe it's a routine. If you put leak in, though, maybe that automatically puts it to an urgent or an emergency.
Okay.
So we can do that, yes. And that will go into next week, or if you want to hang on after 2:30, we can go back and look at it now.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay, so to assign an employee, there's multiple ways to do it. I don't particularly like this right now. I may later whenever I get better at it, but on the top left-hand side of the new work order screen, you see I have an add or assign employee. So you can click on that, and then it brings you up a list of recommended employees. This list is generated from several things that if you put them into the people area when you create the person, it will recommend a good employee for you. I'm going to click on this link here, which you can do as well if you want, and this is going to bring up the matrix and show you how these people are selected. So it comes up, and these are the points that are creating who is recommended to do this. So we have supervisor, the shop. If we set shops for our employee and a request gets put in that we know is going to be POM or EVS, then it won't recommend a housekeeper to go do a POM work order. Craft, we can put craft in as well, where maybe we have maybe Mr. Rodriguez here is an electrician, so anytime an electrical work order gets put in, it'll give him a check here and it'll trigger and recommend Rodriguez for an electrical work order. The location, here's another thing. Because this location is an AFV2 work order, or no, excuse me, it's an AFV1 work order, I do not have any AFV2 employees on here because it's not going to assign an AFV2 employee to go over there. Also equipment. If you have certain people that can only work on certain pieces of equipment, we can tie that information together as well. But you see, this is the matrix. And then also there's a working tab. We can set schedules for employees, so it won't recommend putting a person on a work order that's not at work. Or if your person that you want to assign is not in this list, you can check the manually assign button here, and then you just type the person's name. I'm going to go ahead and assign this one to D Powers as well. And I'm going to submit the work order. Now the work order gets submitted, and it pops up here, and we have a work order identifier, the name, and we have a couple of options here. For close and clear, if I were to click this link, it's going to close this window, and it's going to take me right back to the new work order screen with no information in it. It'll be blank. If I click on close and new, it's going to close this screen, take me back to the new work order screen, and it's going to leave all the information that I filled out in there. So you could just change one more thing if I had another plumbing leak or something. My request, now there is a difference between my requests and my work orders. My requests are any work orders where you were the requested by user. So see here, I was the requested by user, so it would show me this. My work orders are work orders that are assigned to you as the employee. So if your technicians go in and want to see what work orders they have, they want to go to my work orders. If Mary Lou, if you want to log in and see what the status is on the work orders that you submitted this morning, you want to go to my requests. And then we have details for work order. If you want to get into the work order details, which has pretty much the same information we just filled out, plus if you had any pre-programmed information to go into the work order. I am going to click on Close and Clear, just as an example. See, it got rid of everything and cleared out all of my information. Now I'm going to go back to my Manage Overview. And look for this work order that I just created. Oh, I'm not seeing it because I'm still Save Search. I'm only seeing AFV2 stuff. So I have to go to Search and remove AFV2 out. And let it go ahead and search again. Because I submitted this work order at AFV1. So here it is. It's got the work order, the location, priority, status. It's still saying waiting for assignment even though I assigned it inside there. And the reason that is the way I had to build these certain layers to tell when it printed is based on dispatch actions and not when you create the work order itself. And we can also change the information that you see here. If you want to see information that is not on here, or if you don't want to see something that is on here to make it a little simpler, we can add that. So here's my work order. We have different ways of doing dispatch actions. The first thing I'm going to do is post time to it. So if I'm an employee, I just worked on this today, but I didn't close it out. I need to post time to it. And I have two options. Once you learn what these photos are, you can click the photos, or you can click the down arrow on the work order that you want to perform the action on. And then you can select post time. So I can select post time here, and I'm going to post time to that work order only. The other option that you have is if you want to click these check boxes. So if you're the supervisor and you want to post time to all three of these, you check the boxes, you go to dispatch actions on the top right, and you can go to post time. When you do it this way, it's going to post time to all three of them, and it'll do it separately. I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of it, but I just want to show you. Whenever you do post, it's going to take you to this screen, and you see you get a brief overview of the work order up top. So you can see I'm posting on 8001, the location, the priority, etc., so that you know which one you're putting information on. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and cancel because I do not want to post time to the other two that I checked. So I'm going to uncheck them, and I'll go ahead and post time to my one. Now the post time dispatch action as well, if it's not on your site, it's one that I made, I can add it to your site, or if yours looks different than this and you want to add some of this information, you can as well. So the first thing that we have to put is the date that we're posting time for. Any field in Sprocket where you see date, you can hit the letter T for today and it'll post today's date. Or you can click the little calendar to the right hand side and fill it in. The next block is employee. Now I put employee on here because you may have an employee assisting someone on a work order that's not assigned to them. So I'm going to say that, well, I guess if I could remember his name it would be good. I'm going to put Britton Stacy. I'm going to say that he assisted me on this. And he got an hour and 15 minutes on my work order today. And he's not very efficient, so place plunger and bathroom. And I'm going to go ahead and post it. Oh, it's saying that I contained errors, and it's something that I'll have to look at later. Oh, okay. It's saying you can't post time when it's in an assigned status. If you ever get one of these error pop-ups, please tell me it is not posting time or it's not closing the work order, whatever you were trying to do. So again, all this is saying is that it can't be in the waiting for assignment status. It has to be in an assigned status. So I'm going to go ahead and assign it to myself real quick. just to make sure we don't have that error again. And I'm going to post time to it. Today, Britain, 1 hour, 15 minutes. And we'll try again. Okay, so this time it did not give me any error, so it did take it. And if I wanted to see that, you can go into the work order details. And then you have a couple of tabs up here. We want to go to time, so we can see the time that's been posted to this. And I can see Britton Stacy has posted 1 hour and 15 minutes. His wage multiplier is A. I think on most of the sites now I have regular, overtime, or holiday. And then how much we are billing for it. So I can see all the time postings to this work order at that location. I'm going to go back to my Manage Overview screen, because the next thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and close this work order. Now, depending on your site, there's something that's very distinguishing. Close with remarks is going to close the work order. Most sites also have one that's called Mark Complete. Now, when you mark the work order complete, this action is designed for the technicians. So the technicians will mark the work as complete, and then either the systems coordinators or the managers are going to go back, review the comments that the technician put in, and then you'll have the ability to close with remarks. The technicians don't even have this option to them. The thought process behind this is the systems coordinator or the manager can review the comments that were posted and make sure that they're accurate comments. We're trying to get away from people just putting work complete. We want something of substance. So if we have to come back at a later time and rework on a piece of equipment, we can see what was done to it previously. However, you see you have multiple options here. We can print if we want to, we can cancel, we can change the status, and these are all different based on your account. These are also all different based on which Save Search you're in. So I'm in the Manage Overview Save Search. If I was in the All Canceled Save Search, for instance, I don't have all those options. So it's really important to note which screen you're on if you ever have to ask for help. But I'm going to go ahead and close with remarks. And I've also added the same fields so that whenever we close work orders at Air Force Village, we have the ability to post time to it as well. So we don't have to make 2 entries. So this is going to close the work order as well as post time to it.
Hey, Dustin?
Yes, ma'am.
Whenever this setting on mine is not posting time, the close with time, I add time and it doesn't actually add time. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And I'll look at it. Which site is it?
Foundation. This is Erin.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I will contact you as soon as this is over and we'll get it fixed.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. So, okay, so that function is built. I'm going to go ahead and click Submit. Or I filled in the information. I didn't build a function. But you'll see it'll go from an assigned status to a closed status, which it did. And I'm going to go in and make sure that the time posted to it. So I'm going to click on the work order number again. And I'm going to go to the Time tab. And I see Britain posted time, 1 hour and 15 minutes today, and then D-Power's posted time. And you can view the comments if you want. You can just mouse over it, or you can click on it. And then one more thing I wanted to show you all that I missed earlier. On the Manage Overview screen, if you want to see the work order details without really clicking and going into full detail, you can click these little, the I that's next to the work order number or below it, and that will bring up a small kind of summary for you. So you can see total hours posted to it or any comments that have been made to that work order. So that is it for what I'm going to show y'all for today's thing. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. I'm going to show y'all one more thing that's coming. I've got it up on the Air Force Village site. I'm still doing some modifications to it, but the reporting piece of this is really important. and I've started building my dashboards at Air Force Village, and I'm sharing them with the managers at Air Force Village. So I clicked on reporting, I went to dashboard, and these are some of the types of things that we can build for your site if you want them. So you see there, my top dashboard I have is open work orders and PMs at AFV2. For those of you who didn't know, I'm filling in at AFV2 right now, so I'm filling in as a manager there. So if I'm a little slow to respond, please forgive me. Make sure you email me and I'll make sure to get back to you. So here I see there's a lot of unassigned work orders, so we're going to have to get on assigning them. And then I have it broken down. Open work orders are in pink and open PMs are in green. So I can check my employee workload by looking at this and kind of balance my workload and make sure that no one's really getting over. To the right-hand side, I have how many have been closed month to date. So here I can see who's completing their work orders and getting them closed out. So there hadn't been a lot done, but a lot of this may just be data entry as well, that the work orders have been done, but the DTSs hadn't been inputted into Sprocket. Here I have one that shows me the counts by priority. So I can see that the large piece here is my projects. PMs are not too big, and then I have a large block of routines as well. Or excuse me, this is PMs, so I do have a lot of PMs, and there's quite a few urgents as well, it looks like. And then I have a chart that shows me my over 30 days, so I can see who is not keeping up with their work orders and getting them done in a timely manner. Now I know there is a lot of unassigned here, and the majority of those are duplicates from our go live dates at Air Force Village, and they just need to cancel them out. Then I also have a breakdown of time posted, and here I have time last month, month to date, and then last 7 days. Now I'm doing this to make sure that employees are accurately accounting for their time. So kind of at a glimpse, I see this guy has way more time than everyone else. And then, in contrast, I see this guy doesn't have anything in the last 7 days or this month, and he had very little last month. So, whenever people go on vacation, you can see that, but this is time that we have accounted for in Sprocket. Everyone should have 40 hours a week accounted for in Sprocket if they didn't take any vacation. So this is just a tool for me to look at and glimpse and make sure that we are reporting all of our time, and it's getting accurately recorded in Sprocket. So we will also go through how to create these at a later time. It's a little more challenging, well, it's a lot more challenging and a lot more advanced. So if you want something like this at your account, shoot me an email and say, hey Dustin, I really like that open work orders and PMs, can you create one for me? And I'll get it done for you. You don't have to worry about doing it yourself. But that is going to conclude this class, and just a quick note for next week. Kind of what I tentatively have planned is how do you edit the new work order screen. So that's what I showed y'all earlier. So it's going to be how you change this and how do you request additional information, how do you set stuff as required, how do you repopulate stuff, etc. And then we'll also go over how you set up the work order details to show you the information that you want. We'll go over editing these request codes. We're going to discuss priorities a little bit and how to set your priorities and how to determine what appropriate response times are for those priorities. And then we're going to dive really heavily into people, how to create the people, how to set their locations, their crafts, their phone numbers, how do you set their passwords, and how do you set their permission levels so you see what they're going to be allowed to see. So if nobody has anything, that's going to go ahead and conclude this. Yes, sir.
Hey, it's Brian, Heritage Park.
Yes, sir.
Do we have a link for the guest users yet? Because we pretty much trained all of our managers on the old one, and several of them have come up to me and said, "Hey, I can't give you guys work orders yet."
Yeah, the links for them are the same as the link for you. It's just how you have them set up for permissions. Let me make a note, and I'll give you a call after this, and we'll make sure we get your guys set up.
Okay. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Okay. Well, just want to thank everyone for coming, and like I said, I'm going to make it a point to keep these to the time limits that we have set. I said 2 o'clock to 2:30. It's now 2:30, so we're going to go ahead and call this quits, and this meeting is over. Thanks for calling in.
Thanks, Dustin.
Thanks, Dustin.
Hey, Dustin. Thank you. Dustin,
Yes, sir.
Dan, can you give me a call when you get caught up with all your other calls?
Yep, I'm adding you to
All
the
right.
list.
All right.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Send me the link.